Welcome to Silent Sunday Nights here on TCM. I'm your host, Jacqueline Stewart. I'm coming to you tonight from the beautiful Ida Noyes Hall at the University of Chicago. Tonight we're headed to France for the movie that marked the feature film debut of Josephine Baker. Produced in France in 1927 and in the US 2 years later, it's Siren of the Tropics. The story begins in Paris, where a middle-aged marquis sets his sights on a much younger woman and decides to send her handsome fiancé out of the country. He exiles him to a remote island in the Antilles, where the young man meets a vivacious native woman, played by Josephine Baker, and she falls madly in love with him. The leading man is played by Pierre Batcheff, who was a popular star in France in the 1920s, but the film was really a vehicle for Josephine Baker. Born in St. Louis, Baker started her career as a teenager and eventually found herself performing in the chorus of the Broadway revues Shuffle Along and the Chocolate Dandies. But she became a much bigger star and a symbol of the jazz age in Europe in the mid-1920s. In 1926, she caused a sensation when she starred in the Folies Bergère, where she performed in a skirt made out of 16 bananas and very little else. Baker's popularity on stage led to her feature film debut in 1927, with her starring role in the film you're about to see. She got to recreate some of her famous dance numbers from her live shows. She also got to play a starring role that would not have been available to her in a mainstream Hollywood film at that time. Her character is a smart and independent Black woman, and moreover, one who falls in love with a white man who also shows affection for her. The film also takes an approach to sexuality and nudity that's much more relaxed than anything coming out of Hollywood at the time, even during the pre-code era before censors began cracking down on movie content. From France in 1927, here is Josephine Baker in Siren of the Tropics. Siren of the Tropics was Josephine Baker's feature film debut. But despite her success in the movie, she didn't return to the big screen for another 7 years. By that point, sound had come in, and moviegoers could finally hear her singing voice in films like Zuzu from 1934 and Princess Tam Tam from 1935. In 1936, Baker attempted to return to the stage in the US, but she found that American critics and audiences still weren't willing to accept a Black woman as a major star. She returned to France, where she was beloved, and during World War II, she served the country by working with the French resistance. In the 1950s and 60s, she again visited the States with a renewed determination to fight racism and segregation. She became an outspoken supporter of the civil rights movement and was the only woman in the official program of the March on Washington in 1963. A decade later, in 1973, Baker made a stunning return to the New York stage with a retrospective performance at Carnegie Hall, where American audiences, at long last, greeted her with a standing ovation. Up next, I'm turning it over to Alicia Malone for TCM Imports, and I'll be back next week when Silent Sunday Nights returns. I'm Jacqueline Stewart. Thanks for watching.
Next on TCM, The Fireman's Ball, then Loves of a Blonde, and later, The Catered Affair. TCM puts out the good china tonight.